Good morning, I'm Chris and I'm going for a hike. Today I'm going to go to North Twin Mountain in New Hampshire. This is another one of the 4,000 footers. This is one that I orphaned when I did a Pemi loop with some additions. Definitely wasn't time to do this that time. So I'm going to do North Twin as a single on its own and hope to have a successful hike today. I'm a little more than a mile in, but I've only ascended about, 300 or 400 feet, if even that. So quarter of the distance, but a smidge of the ascent. The trail so far has been nice, fairly flat, like this trail here. And it's pretty much been running next to this bigger river. I have one stream crossing, which I took the video of earlier. Now is another little stream crossing. And I know there's stream crossings that people warn about on this trail. I don't think I've hit the big ones yet, but we shall see. I'm going to do this little rock hop and keep on hiking. So I'm 2 miles into the North Twin Trail and I've reached the bigger river crossing. Thankfully the water's low. I checked the USGS stream gauge for this area before coming on the hike, and this is like the lowest the water's been all season. Today's July 9th, 2026. And so let's go take a look at... We've got to get across over there. I zoom in. Over on that tree there's a hiker sign, so that's where we're going to. I'm looking at a series of rocks over here. Some smaller rocks, maybe to those bigger ones in the middle. And then it's a lot shallower to get across to the other side. It's definitely safe to cross. And I can probably keep my feet dry or mostly dry on this one and not have to take my shoes off. I'll let you know how it goes. I made it across! Yay! So I took some smaller rocks to start, ended up at these bigger rocks, and then it was pretty dry the rest of the way across. So I'm across the river, I've got dry feet, and I made it over to the blaze and the hiker sign. I think now is about where the climbing is really going to start. I still have a good 2,300 feet in like 2 or 2.5 miles, so it's going to be a steep climb up to North Twin. It's warm today. I think the highs in the valleys are like 85. So down here I'm at about 2,300 feet elevation, and it's warm and humid. So I'm looking forward to getting up to higher elevation. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of a breeze and some cooler temperatures up there. Climbed about another 200 feet from the big stream crossing. Reached another one that, because the water level's low, will be a nice easy rock hop. But I can definitely see if the water level were higher, there wouldn't be very much of rocks to hop on here. The path is straight ahead into the woods. There's some bigger rocks upstream. If the water level were higher, this could definitely be more challenging. Certainly happy to be here on a low water level day. There's a bunch of little stream crossings all along this trail as we're going up to North Twin. And the trail's definitely climbing, but it's not too steep. Some areas are smooth and dirt. Other areas are more like this, rocky, some roots. You know, typical High Peaks trail. So far, a nice hike. And at 3,700 feet, less than a mile to go, and 1,000 more feet to climb. So I'm heading up the trail behind me. It's a little bit rocky. I think it's gonna get steeper. It's been a pretty steady climb so far, not too bad, but I think it's gonna get steeper now. So go knock out this last 1,000 feet up to North Twin. So I'm 4 miles into the trail at 4,000 feet of elevation. So I've got 700 more feet to climb and about a half mile to go. As you can see, it is steep and rocky. A couple of tiny little scrambles, but nothing bad. So up to 4,500 feet of elevation, 200 more to go to the summit. On the topo map, it looks like at this point it gets less steep. So I'm sure I still have some little steeper sections, but hopefully a little bit of gradual stuff along the way too. I'll see how it goes. And I just came up to a little flat area, took a break to get my heart rate back down, and then continuing on the trail up there. That's my favorite bird. Popped out of the woods to this gorgeous view. But I'm not to the summit yet. A little bit more to go to get to the summit. I think there's another viewpoint around the summit. I'm guessing that one's South Twin. We've got Mount Washington there with the clouds touching it. And so the past 2 days, I was on the ridge to the right of Mount Washington. Hiked all those peaks over the past 2 days. I made it to the pile of rocks that's the North Twin summit. So this would be, I think I'm at New Hampshire 42 if I'm counting correctly. I gotta check out the spreadsheet. It's 103 for the Northeast 111. That's 103 out of 115 because that's how we count. I'm very happy to have made it up this trail. It was steep towards, the steep section towards the end, but nothing out of the ordinary for a 4,000 footer in the Northeast. And so from the summit cairn, there is a little trail to the side to another outlook. So I'm gonna go check that out. Like this is one of those everything happens for a good reason kinds of hikes. I hoped to get North Twin 2 years ago when I did a Pemi loop and definitely just didn't have the energy for it. So, left it as a mountain I could come get later. So this is my later. And I am loving standing here, looking at the Pemi wilderness behind me, the mountains of the Pemi loop behind me, and knowing that I've hiked all of those. There's another little cairn on the little trail to the overlook. That's probably the true summit, not the big cairn at the trail junction. Back at the first overlook, I don't want to leave this mountain. These overlooks are amazing. It's a beautiful day. Also a lot cooler, and there's a breeze up here compared to down at the bottom of the trail. It was pretty humid and sweaty climb up. But there's a nice stream along the bottom half of the trail and in the parking lot, so I will probably take a dip before getting in my car. Probably also don't want to leave here because I gotta drive home after this, which home is fine, but it's not the top of a mountain. And this is pretty glorious. Made it down the steep part, back across the big stream crossing, and now I'm on the trail heading out. It's about 2 more miles, and it just kind of steadily descends around 500 feet. I'm on one of the spots now where it pulls away from the river a little bit, so a couple of tiny little climbs up to pull away from the river, and then mostly overall a fairly easy walk out. So definitely loved the summit of North Twin. Amazing views of the Pemi Wilderness and also out to the Presidential Range and the mountains out to the east of here. So loved those views, loved getting up out of the hot, humid weather that's down here at the lower elevations and getting some cooler temperatures and a nice breeze up at the high elevation. That was a wonderful feeling. Definitely looking forward to seeing if I can jump in the creek that's near the parking area before I get in the car to drive home. I could use a little jump in a creek before I do that. So yeah, it's been a great hike to North Twin. So just coming down the steep area towards the top, there were areas that were a little bit smaller rocks and gravel, kind of like a rocky scree, and so I definitely had to be careful there to not slide. Other areas with slightly larger rocks. Took my time, watched my footing, and even though it's warmer temperature down here, I'll enjoy the smoother, easier trail on my way out. Reached the sign for the start of the forest protection area. That means I'm within a 1/4 mile of the parking lot. And I've been, for the last mile and a half, I've been gently going downhill on this nice smooth trail. So I will wrap up the video here as I finish my last 1/4 mile hike out here. Again, I loved the North Twin hike, partially because the views were great, partially just I'm feeling good today, so had a good hiking day. And this is also wrapping up. I did a 3-day trip to New Hampshire to get some more hikes in. I got 5 more 4,000 footers in on this hike. Did the Southern Presidentials on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then grabbed North Twin today on Thursday. So I'm gonna kind of clean up a little bit, get in the car, and drive my 4 or 5 hours back home from here. So thank you for watching, and if you hike North Twin or you've hiked it in the past, I'm definitely curious to hear how the river crossings were at different times. So leave me a comment if you've done this hike and had a different weather experience and different conditions experience than I did. I definitely know I'm lucky to have been able to hit this on a dry time when the water levels are fairly low. Definitely made it an easy and enjoyable hike. So thanks for watching. I'm Chris. I hike, and I hope you'll keep hiking too.